G'day everyone, Professor Maple here. We are back on Maple's World, doing things, doing other things, looking at the things that we've done, and that's the point of today's episode. Today, as promised last episode, is the World Tour, and I am excited to bring you Maple's World in beautiful standard definition. Ooh. I'm sorry, that's funnier to me than it should be. But anyway, yeah. Uh, hope everyone's having a good now, and yeah, welcome to Maple's World. For those of you who are new or who have never been here before or who have recently subscribed or subscribing this episode, welcome. Um, we're gonna take a look down memory lane. Well, for me it's memory lane. For some of you, it's gonna be this is all new. But yeah, we're gonna look at all the things that I've done so far in this world, or most of them, the relevant ones, and that's gonna be the episode. So sit back with a snack, grab some beverage of choice, and yeah, we'll take a quick tour. I say quick. I don't know how long this is gonna end up taking, but we'll take a tour of the world and have a good time. So yeah, so this is Old Spawn, named that because I accidentally reset spawn to over there at one point. While trying to teleport, I was taking screenshots in creative mode, and I accidentally, instead of teleporting myself to spawn, I set the spawn over there, and that's it. So this is where I originally spawned the first time in this world. This hill here was here, and eventually I set up a nether portal. Well, that it started there, but I moved it here because it was a bit more out of the way. And yeah, over here, we celebrated our hitting 100 subscribers on the channel by planting 100 trees and bamboo, which you could argue might not be a tree. I don't know. It's made of wood. I think you could call it a tree. But yeah, we've got 100 trees in this little forest here. This represents the first 100 subscribers, and I will do another planting around the forest once we hit. Oh, hi, horse. Once we hit 200, 250, somewhere around there. I don't know yet. But once we hit another milestone of some sort, I will plant more trees. Hi. I'll plant more. Oh, it's because I have the golden that's why. Okay, sorry, horse. I didn't mean to confuse you. Um, yeah. So that's the thing. And I want to try and do this world tour in a single take if I can, because one of the things that annoys me about watching other creators understandably cut their content to make it fit a certain time length is that it always has to, like, you kind of lose the thread of where everything is. And I'm going to sleep here if I can. I don't have my data packs haven't updated yet, so I don't know what time it is. But yeah, we can sleep now and get rid of that dark sky, and now we can keep going here and see what's going on here. But yeah, over there is new spawn. We'll take a look at that next, I guess. No point in taking the nether because it's so close. But here is where I started building the plaza. I guess it's a plaza. It's kind of, or like a cul-de-sac sort of thing for the apartment building I used to live in, which will go there. And it's sort of twin tower sort of thing. There were two buildings side by side with this little courtyard driveway thing in the middle. And the plan is to build it. I'm not going to not build them. It's just a matter of when. Because I keep getting distracted by other builds I want to do. And I've got them designed and screenshotted and stuff as far as I remember, but yeah, I just have to get around to it. But this is where new spawn is. Anytime I respawn, if I don't set my spawn, it's under here where this noisy portal is, and it's a matter of climbing up through the fire escape to the surface here, and away we go. But yeah, this is meant to be a representation of the garden in the middle of that sort of cul-de-sac dealy. And this janky line on the outside, that marks the outside of where the spawn chunks used to be. Because my understanding is that 1.21 or even 1.20.5 or somewhere around there, the spawn chunks got reset to a different size. It was like 3 chunks or something like that, or like a 3x3 chunk area. That is that's too small to encompass what we're going to see next, which is the Iron Ink Cat and Poppy Farm. Over here, this is a double Moses design, and with a modified husk conveyance circuit up there. But yeah, the villages are technically up there, so the iron golems spawn on the top platform with the water. They drop down into the lava. It's all good for me, but not for them. And it's over a river biome, so I've got the squid farm underneath, and then all the drops go down to a minecart system in the bottom there, which maybe isn't the best thing to have at spawn, but that's what we've got. And these beds on the surface here, I think what happens is that because they are registered as part of the villages above, that they kind of expand the radius of the village so that these blocks that are floating here and lit up with the end rods, they can spawn cats, which is why I've got so many in this corner here. Not as many as at my base, but still more than I expected to ever have. So that's what we've got. And just down below is the staircase to the nether portal and the item collection area. But I figured we'd get some of the colors of the materials that we collect here. We've got the iron, so we've got white and diorite colored and all that sort of thing, so that we can have slabs and stairs. And then we've got the red terracotta of the glazed kind, of course, and the black concrete for all the colorful things that we can collect here. There's no one color for cats, so I didn't want to build anything out of anything that represents cats, because that can get kind of weird. But yeah, that's what we've got here. And oh wait, no, I want to go this way. And over here, we've got our knackle stack. This is inspired by Pokemon Violet, where I was playing it and saw one of these, or my Knackley evolved into one, I think was the case, and I was like, that is the most Minecraft mob looking Pokemon ever. I'm gonna build one. And I had also been watching a YouTuber who was building even much larger Pokemon in Minecraft at the time, and that kind of inspired this. So yeah, that's the inspiration for this. I just thought it fit so well for Minecraft, I couldn't not build it, and that's what we've got here. But yeah, I think now we can go back to, let's go to Old Spawn, the portal there, And we'll go to the next thing on the list here. But yeah, it was Goofy Geek. That's who inspired the Knackle stack there. Oh yeah, I don't have my boots on. Let's put boots on. Let's put armor on while we're in the Nether. Yes. And we'll head to flower farm or the flower forest. It's it's a long story, but it is now a farm too. It's not more than one farm like I want it to be, but it will be soon. TM. But yeah, I am currently redoing the process of mapping out all the flowers here by bone mealing them one at a time. Well, sometimes two at a time if I can do it. And eventually, this whole outlined area, which is outlined in planks, will be covered in flowers, and I'll be able to put farms in for the different colors of flowers that I want. So this is what it looks like currently. And then I've got a farm there, which originally was for cornflowers, which I have here. I've got a love relationship with cornflowers, but they don't seem to love me back all the time because I think Caves and Cliffs changed the flower map. And so originally when this was cornflowers, it was fine. But I had another tunnel that we'll see later this episode that I wanted to build in blue, light blue. And when I came here to run the farm, I got orange tulips. So yeah, at some point the flower map in this world changed, but you know, what can you do? It's almost a 10 update. It's a 9 update old map. So so the flower map here is a little borked. But yeah, one day soon I'll get a cornflower farm over there so that I can collect a bunch and hopefully never need more again. I'm hoping that the blue tunnel in the Nether is long enough that I never have to build it further out, but you never know. And that's that. That's the flower farm. It's mainly the shifting floor design there is, as far as I'm aware, it's a Pixelrish design. Where I think he used it for in the survival guide for like a shifting floor design for Nether sprouts and Crimson sprouts and the like. But I've adapted it for flower farms, and it works just as well. And here is the Woolly Creeper Woollyvator that I used to get around the Nether because you can't use bubble columns in the Nether because water. Yeah, the portal to the Iron Ink and Poppy Farm, portal to New Spawn, and the portal to Old Spawn. We passed up there as well before we went down the Woollyvator. But yeah, that's a thing, and there's not a ton else beyond here in the yellow tunnel. There will be another tunnel going this way soon, though. Again, soon TM, not soon. But that goes to what is my current project when I'm not looking at updates and whatnot. And do I have I must have my texture packs on, right? Hold on. Yeah, okay. It's just the Nether looks dark again, and I thought I had brighter Nether turned on, but I think it might just be that I don't have an updated version of Xylofan's Gamma texture pack as well, which I think further brightened the Nether up because it's dark, and that's what it does is It brightens dark areas. Yay, jump beacon. But yeah, that's a thing too. I'm not on Twitter anymore because that's not a good time anymore. It was when I joined, but not now. So, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, this is going to be my Animal Crossing island that I built or will have built in Minecraft. And as you can see here, we've got it's a mushroom island. It's a mushroom island that's being converted into my Animal Crossing island from my Switch world. And yeah, it's coming together quite nicely. We've got a museum, we've got a town hall, we've got the Able Sisters and Nook's Cranny, we've got an orchard and where my house will be soon. Again, TM. Maybe once I'm done exploring 1.21 features, of course. But yeah, this is coming together, and I couldn't be happier with how it's turning out. This looks great. I've got a lot of island shrinking terraforming to do, or land forming, or terrascaping, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's what's happening here. And I started that project a long time ago and just kind of came back to it. And I think that is a theme that you'll see a lot in this world tour, is that a lot of these projects that I'm working on are still being worked on and not completed yet. They are not finished products, most of them, a lot of them. But that's fine. Sometimes I need a break from one project to go, and I go to another, and then another, and then another, and suddenly I have like 80 projects on the go. But that's a thing. That's a thing. But yeah, so we've got the access to the village where I first got the first villagers from, that I used for the trading hall and my base. And as you can see, it is still in a state of disarray since that day, or those days. I don't remember how long it took me, but yeah, it could use some love, and maybe some fewer chunks removed from the world when I trim it. But but yeah, so one of the plan for this place is that I want to restore it to how it was before I came in here. So I want to add some villagers after I rebuild the buildings and make the houses all nice again. And that is a project for another day, of course. But yeah, I figured we'd take a quick stop here and move on to the next thing. Which I think is going to be the skeleton farm. The skeleton farm is the next item on the list here. It's not anything fancy. In fact, it's probably going to be a little fancier now that we're in 1.21 in a little bit. But here is the entrance to that. And this is the Nether Hub, by the way. It's hexagonal, based on my base in the overworld, and also I guess my Nether base now too. But yeah, down the Nether Hub basement here we go to the bone farm, the skeleton farm, and yeah, we've got some innovation to bring to this farm, because now we have the crafter, and so we can craft bone meal, we can craft bone blocks, we can store bones a lot more efficiently than this. And it's a spawner based farm, of course. So I was mining and found the spawner dungeon, and built around it, and it's great. There also is, I forget whose design it is, but this used to be a fishing farm that I used in the early game to get mending books and lots of food. But I've of course ransacked it and it no longer works. So I'm not sure if I will keep that around or not. But, I should probably use this space for auto crafting in this update. But yeah, that's a thing that's there. So if you've been on the channel for a while, you might remember that. And yeah, that's why I don't use it, is because it doesn't work for, hasn't worked for a few updates now. But that's the thing. And let's see, what do I want to go to next? Probably the blue tunnel, if I'm not mistaken, right? Skeleton Farm, Witch Farm, yes. So the Witch Farm is the next. We go down the south tunnel to get there, and the rest of our next destinations. Witch Farm is not very far at all. It's just here. And as much as I would like to take credit for the design of this farm, I think I've just seen enough Exuma Void videos that it's probably a design of his. So we're gonna edit this. And I'm just going to grab some dye here. Oops, oops, oops. Hip, hip. There we go. There, it's in the light blue tunnel now. It's in light blue dye. But yeah, it's mostly made to look like a vaguely larger witch hut, with the old witch hut down below being used as the farm basis. It's got a tripwire hook sensing mechanism in there. I guess that's what you can call it. I'm sure there's a better, more concise word for it, but that's what we're gonna call it for now. And then water streams push the witches into a single tube. They take fall damage and get picked up by the minecart, whooshed up here, and brought into the sword of their drops. And yes, Soothsayer, you have something to say? Meow, yes, meow, meow. Yeah, okay. But yeah, that's Soothsayer. We went quite a distance to find them because the next witch hut is a very long ways away in this world, probably because it was generated after Caves and Cliffs, and this world has been around since 1.12. So yeah, that's a bit of a jump between versions. But yeah, so that's the thing. And then along here we have our lovely villager trading hall, which, as you can see, the basement is not done yet. I've got some finishing up to do in the basement, but originally I found this zombie spawner and tried to get zombie villagers out of it, but I ran some tests, and after I built this spawner thing here in the conversion chamber over here, it wasn't really getting me any, so I decided to just put a villager breeder here instead and do things that way, and that seems to have worked out well. The moving them by water streams is not an original idea of mine. It's a borrowed idea from Daedalus 822, who used like a tripwire hook mechanism in one of his single player worlds to to open up and lock the chambers that the villagers fell into in that world. I've got these observer lever systems that work just as well, I would say. And yeah, this is where we got our map for the trial chambers last episode. I almost said trial ruins again, like trail ruin. Like I just every time I try to think those words, I get them almost mixed up at the very least. But yeah, we've got some sugarcane farms here. Got some giant villager heads as decor because why not? Um, and all the chambers that the villagers are in are also villager heads, just in a medium size there. So yeah, that's the villager trading hall. It took a long time to do something that honestly isn't that impressive of a build, but I think it looks nice with the shroom lights and the black stone and the andesite and all that. So that's at least a thing. And if we go a bit of a ways this way, down the south tunnel, when the Nether update hit, I wanted to make sure that we got new Nether chunks loaded before we built this. But this is my base in the Nether. Again, it's a hexagon, and again, we've got a nice storage room here. I say again, we've been to my actual overworld base yet, but you'll see why I'm thinking in repetition. But yeah, we've got a basalt generator here. We've got piglin bartering up here. We've got, if we go up, and I mean like way up, friendly giant style, way up, and it's this side. If I can fly, there we go. And this is another candidate for the crafter, I think, is the gold farm. But yeah, the piglins fall. And we get all sorts of gold nuggets here. And yeah, it's a good time. It used to be a very good experience farm. But yeah, the observer clocks here are to get rid of extra items that I'm not sorting out, like extra rotten flesh and stuff like that is going into lava. And I'm going to ender pearl down because I don't trust myself to land this properly. But yeah, it's on the nether roof. Don't go to the nether roof if you're in bedrock. You'll have a bad time. But for Java players, totally worth it. Totally worth the spawn prevention.
I'm going to speed this up, I think.
But just like anything else, this base is not done yet. Because I have lots more plans for it. I just haven't had a ton of time since the Nether update landed to execute them all. But here we have the piglin bartering item sorter. All my item sorters are the Impulse SV variety. So that should be no surprise to anyone who knows me. But yeah, we have the items fall all the way down from a little dropper circuit down through those cobwebs into this hopper line here and into the sorter, which is probably excessive amount of hoppers, but if I'm the only one in the world, then, and it's not creating too much lag, then I don't see why it's an issue, but for some people it is. And we've got, this is just where I mine netherite. It's not a huge, or like nether, ancient debris, that's the word. I was thinking ancient scrap, but that's, nether scrap is not the same thing. And then way down here, yeah, this way. Way down here. Is the orange section of the tunnel. Again, because of the, like I mentioned before, the tulips, the orange tulips were growing where my cornflowers were supposed to grow. So I decided instead of wasting that dye, I would put it to use in the blue tunnel. The orange glazed terracotta is partially blue, so it worked. But yeah, if we go even further down here, and I found out later this wasn't necessary, but this leads even to my Froglight farm, which I will actually, you know what? This tunnel is pretty monotone, so I think this will be a cut. As much as I want to do everything in one take, this is literally hundreds and hundreds of blocks, this tunnel, and it's all the same, pretty much. So I will see you when we get there. And here we are. Only a few hundred blocks later, of course. But yeah, this is the... And I don't think I will finish this one up too much because there is lava behind a lot of this gravel. But this is the Froglight farm. The frogs down there. The spawners here for the magma cubes. They drop in there. The big ones get shrunk down by taking cold damage from those floating powder snow blocks. And the smaller they get, the quicker they get eaten by the frogs. And they poop out the froglights, which are collected by a hopper mine cart. And this is the best place to get the subspace bubble achievement, because you can go in through this portal, pop out wherever you pop out, and chances are by the time you've gotten here, you have gotten the achievement. Regardless of whatever other portal you've taken to get here. So yeah, this is a Pixelbrist farm, and of course the Impulse SV item sorter there. Anyway. Alright, and a new stack of rockets later. We're back in the Nether Hub, and we're going to go down the west tunnel now to see what all is there. On the left here is just an exit to the Nether itself, the open Nether. On the right here, it's nothing interesting. It's just a mining desert near my base. But if we go down this tunnel, eventually, if I think you can guess where we're headed by the block palette. It's to the Guardian farm. And for a long time, this was my first major source of food. I ate a lot of fish in the early days, and heck, even in some of the late days. And I still get a lot of it in the farm. And then I think this is the first place I want to upgrade after the changes in 1.21, the auto crafter coming in. Oh, this side's full, it looks like, by the lamp. This one is not. But yeah, so we may come back here very soon to do some changes. But this is the Cub Fan 135 Guardian Farm design. So it is based on soul sand, pulling the Guardians down into a stream. And I maybe didn't need to build the full size of the farm, but that's what I did. And you can see the guardians come up to the top here. Oh yeah, sorry, the bubble columns push them to the top, and push them into the water stream here. They go down into a single chamber where I hit them with a sword, and then get experience from them as well as drops. And a looting sword, of course, is a beneficial thing to have around these parts. But yeah, I think in a however many episodes it's going to be when I get around to coming here and fixing this farm, I'm gonna have to bring some more birch to work with because I like the way it works with the prismarine. Hence, I chose to use it, and it also looks nice with the item frames here. But yeah, that'll be a thing. I can talk plans about that later, but for now, that's mainly what that is. And down below here, we have. Well, I mentioned I got a lot of fish from that Guardian farm, and that I was eating a lot of it in earlier days. This is an auto smelter that I would bring the fish down and use lava buckets from the open nether over that way. There's a lava lake, as you can hear, and yeah, all these smokers would smoke the fish, and it and the buckets would come out here, and I'd refill the buckets, and off we go. Instant lunch. But yeah, that's that. And I think, let's see, that is the terracotta mining area. I lowered the portal down to meet the nether tunnel here. But there's nothing really interesting there. It's just a Badlands area biome that I'm sure most of you have seen before. And here is the Blaze Farm. Blaze Farm is a double blaze spawner up top, and they get funneled down into not a single area with lava, but two separate spots with lava because the finagling of trying to get them to align properly was just not quite what I was hoping for it to be. So yeah, we've got them coming down here and here. When I spend enough time in the area, which no, I don't think we'll see that happen right now. But yeah, this is my one of my first builds out of Deep Slate after Caves and Cliffs Part 2 dropped, and I collected enough Deep Slate to build with. Yeah, I don't remember if I showed this on camera or not, but I've fixed up the janky bridge that went to the nether tunnel here. But that's the end of the west tunnel, believe it or not. There's no tunnel that goes to the jungle where I found Jack and Jean. There's no yeah, there's nothing like that down that way. If you don't know who Jack and Jean are, we'll meet them this episode. But if you've seen my Armored Paws episode, then you know where they're from. And this is the north tunnel. It's the green one. It's the north one. This is mostly for breeding frogs. Breeding frogs is a large part of what this tunnel is for. So we've got the hot breeding grounds in the shattered savanna biome. That's why there are a bunch of frogs in the hallway here. We've got the warm breeding grounds in the taiga forest. And over here, we've got the cold breeding grounds in the icy tundra area, where those are my favorite frogs. Not my favorite biome, but my favorite frogs. And of course, down here, you can see we've got the entrance to our end portal. So we've got this giant Eye of Ender pixel art down in the bottom here. I don't remember if I came up with this myself or if it's someone else's, and I apologize for not being able to, if that is someone else's, credit them. But yeah, this is standard end decor. Another Woolly Vader from Woolly Creeper to bring us up and down in the nether because, again, water doesn't work here. And the end portal, I haven't decorated anything on the overworld side, and as you can see, I haven't finished decorating on the nether side. So that's a project for another day too. Hopefully, if we ever get an end update, that'd be a good project to do, I think. But yeah, otherwise we've got the chorus plants here, and not much else down this tunnel. That's the end of the line there. And I think that brings us to, because this just brings us down to the green tunnel and the blue tunnel and the bone farm. We've already been down the east tunnel. That's where we started. So I think we're going to head to the base now. And we spawn in the nether hex. This is, as you can see, lots of hexagons in this base. That's because it's designed based on the Settlers of Catan board game. I figured, just like in Minecraft, Settlers of Catan, you have, in this base at least, you can have hexagons that produce resources. In this case, we've got a sheep farm, fitting for settlers, of course. And I have various other hexes going on up and down the base here. And in these 4 hexes, I had recreated parts of the nether without lava lakes, of course, because I've got fire tick on. I can't afford to lose half of my base to fire. But yeah, we've got this is the farming hex for crops. So we've got our crop circle UFO I needed a creative way to light the farm, basically, because it's under another hex, and that's how I did it. Had the lights above, and I was like, how do I justify having the lights just floating there? And I was like, I can't have them just float there. I've got to have a structure hold them. So yeah, it's a crop circle now. There's a UFO that's landed right on top, and that is, that's that. It's also where my main bed is, and there's a little map room inside. Actually, we can enter pearl in there. Why not? We'll do it this way. And ow, my legs. There's the beds. There's the maps. And as you can see from the top down, it looks a lot like a much busier Settlers of Catan board, plus some bonus ducks here. Ooh, that's a deep pull. If you remember bonus ducks, you've been subscribed for a while. But yeah, it's got an interior, it's got an exterior. I'm very proud of this UFO. It might be one of my favorite builds. It's not my absolute favorite build of mine, but it's definitely one up there. Especially for early builds like that. I think we've got more and better gray blocks in the game now since the World of Color update, I think, is the last update to have some of these items added in. Or did the update aquatic happen before or after the World of Color? I don't remember. But yeah, we've got some stuff going on. That farm, I can press a button, it harvests pretty much automatically. I have to replant it manually though. We've got the pumpkin melon farm here. Back here, behind it, we've got the bee farms. All hexes, of course. We've got the item room. And I don't know why I'm going up. I should be going down. should be going down. But yeah, we've got my my sheep farm, which is a design of my own. All these jump pads, by the way, they are designed by Chicken Bitten, who was a neighbor of mine on the Exuma Void Plot World server, way back when that was a thing. And yeah, I'm very thankful to Chicken Bitten for designing that. And now I have it to navigate my base. We've got the smelting hex here. Oh, we've got the potions hex. Potions hex, which I need to update now that there are new potions. But that's a thing too. We've got the smelting hex. We've got mini smelters that are really quick, and then we've got specialty smelters for food and ores in large quantities. We've got the chorus, not the chorus flower farm, but it's the chorus fruit farm. I plant the chorus fruit and water streams, kind of push everything to the hoppers. Did I look at you? I am sorry, but you've picked a fight with the wrong person here. I almost died. I almost died from that. I have most of my armor on, and I almost died from that. I didn't even realize I had looked at him. But that's a thing. We've got mushrooms and cows in this hex here. That was an early one I've done. And down here is what used to be the mining hex. Currently, I just mine out to the bottom of the world here. You can see a fair ways down here. But this used to be the before Caves and Cliffs part. I think it was part 2 that updated the world height limits to -64 and plus, what was it, 320 or something like that. Very high up and very low down. But yeah, this is where the bedrock used to be. This deep slate is what used to be bedrock. And then we have our wool storage hex. These are all recent hexes here. We've got our miscellaneous farming hex here. We've got a mud converter in there. We've got Raiseworks cherry pink petal farm there. We've got a dripstone farm that I designed part of, and the rest just kind of goes down to bedrock here, or is going down to bedrock. I'm taking out hexes one at a time here and filling them in with farms as moderately speedily as I can, I guess. But yeah, the middle hex here is a slime farm that produces more slime than I probably will ever need. Even if I get into slime flying machines, and I probably won't too much. I'm not a big fan of them because they often break from what I've seen in other content on the internet. But yeah, this is the item room. This is one of my favorite rooms here. Or one of the only rooms. I don't have a lot of like buildings that are considered rooms on these hexes. I'm realizing. But yeah, here's the enchantment hex with, I think, as said, Petty's design for the modular enchantment bookshelf dealy here. And then back here, excuse me, Iron Golem. Back here used to be an iron farm. It is now another unfinished project. As you can see on Pasta 1.16. So this is a few updates old. This is going to become a city hex for illagers, like the raid captains and the illager beasts and stuff like that to live in. It's mostly just a skeleton for now, and I plan on putting, now that we have Blackstone and Deep Slate and stuff, but it's gonna hopefully be a gradient from black stone to deep slate to these stone bricks up top here, so I don't have to change out too much of what this is. But it's got a little tower in the top. It's got a lightning rod on it, if I remember correctly. And after Village and Pillage update, I decided, and you can hear some of the future denizens of the city hex. Well, hexes. It's more than one hex because that's hard to fit a city in one. But yeah, after Village and Pillage, I populated this hex with villagers in a village and figured it needed kind of like an alter ego, a dark mirror sort of thing. So I built a bridge across one of the water hexes, and yeah, now we have that village in my base, which is why we have an iron golem in the enchanting hex, because it just spawned there because the village kind of extends in a radius downward as well. But yeah, that's a good time. And oh, I skipped a bunch, but you know what? We'll come back to it. Up here we have the Settlers of the official. Well, I say official. They're not official like Klaus Teuber endorses any of this base, but like they're official in the capacity of that, like they are the resources from Settlers of Catan. So we've got clay for bricks, we've got sheep and other livestock here, and the wool hex. We've got the desert hex, which doesn't produce any resources, but you know, that's how it is in the game too. We've got the wheat hex with my lovely tractor. I love this tractor. It's inspired by a bunch of just like things I found on Google, so I can't really link like one person. But the design, as unless someone else designed the exact same thing elsewhere, is 100% me. So I'm proud of this tractor too. The crop circles in the tractor, and then this is Mount Teuber. This hex is the ore hex, and it's a mountain. This was built after Caves and Cliffs and is partly inspired by it, although the scale is definitely not Caves and Cliffs scale, as you can see. And then we've got the forest hex here, which of course in Settlers of Catan, if you know the game, you know one of the first resources you need is wood or lumber, and that's that. We've got another chicken bitten jump pad here for further expansion later. I'm going to put more, the plan is to put more decorative hexes up top, so different biomes that maybe aren't even in Settlers of Catan now, and to decorate upwards. And then the farms will go downwards into the base further and further down, except for the nether hexes, which of course are, the nether's kind of meant to be underground, so I figured it was appropriate to decorate those down there. But yeah, we have the Wizard Tower hex, which was originally meant to just be a castle hex, but I got carried away with decorating the inside with torch flowers and my favorite flower, the orchid, the blue orchid, and this giant magic crystal thingy, which emanates powers for, or like magic powers for whatever wizard lives here and does their magic here, and that sort of thing. So that's a thing. And also part of the base is this hex here. This is the ranch. We dressed the ranch. We did some ranch dressing a few episodes back now, because my animals were sitting in the rain unprotected, and that didn't seem right. Oh, I can do that next episode. I was thinking of doing have I achieved one of those this episode, which for those of you who've been watching for a little while is like a thing I do every episode, but I think we're probably gonna have a long enough episode as it is without that. So yeah. But here's Jack and Jean, and they are the new wolves that I found with the Armored Paws update. And I'm Jack is like my real life dog, so I had to get him. And that was one of the parrots I found in that episode, which are nested up there, of course. Over here, we have the Sniffer Haven, where nice and relaxing my two sniffers live, and I forget what the word is. It's like snuff. It's not snuffle, but it's like snuffle. They dig up ancient seeds, like torchflower seeds and the pitcher pods from the mud here, and they get collected in hoppers and come out in this chest. As you can see, they've been busy, and yeah. So nice and relaxing. They were named by viewers, maybe not on purpose, but that's okay. And over here, if I don't fall into a hole, is our train station. One episode I was just, actually 2 episodes, I was just really inspired to build a train station, and I didn't want to build it at spawn because I would never, well, not never see it, but seldom see it. And I might still build one at spawn that's maybe bigger and more grandiose in style. But I wanted to build a simple one for my base because it's out in the country, and yeah. So we have a theme song that plays when we enter the platform. Which is maybe not the best note block tuning ever, but it'll do. And we have our J70 tram, which I built in a previous episode, of course, with its coach, a lovely tramway coach here. And yeah, it's lovely. I just this build is fun. It's very much inspired by some of Crafty Fox and Drama Smith Dreams' builds. Especially the buffers are Crafty Fox original. They're not Professor Maple thought process there. I borrowed those very heavily. And we even have buffers at the end of the line. But we also have a Wile E. Coyote tunnel. That tunnel does not go through to anything in real life. Yeah. And let's see, where did we leave off with the, oh yeah, item room here. Whoop. So the item room also leaves off to a tree farming hex where I just manually farm trees. It's my preferred way of doing it. Like I've done automated or semi-automated tree farms in the past that other people have designed, and it's just, as much as it's neat to build them and stuff, I just find a lot of times these days that usually you need like a TNT duper or a lot of TNT, and just a lot of stuff that kind of stresses me out if it breaks, especially inside my base. And so these days I just kind of manually chop trees. But yeah, we have the sugarcane farm, and the sugarcane farm and the bamboo farm. It's all the same farm. There's a timer in the back. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't remember where I came across this style of timer, or if I came up with it myself. It's probably someone else's design. But basically, this armor stand goes around the water wheel here, the horizontal water wheel, and every time it hits that pressure plate, it activates the farm, but it does cause a bit of lag, so I usually keep it off. But yeah, the water pushes that around, and it's a good time if you don't mind the lag. This vine farm is an Azumovoid design. I don't remember how old it is, but it's almost as old as this world. So, or the design is probably older than the world by a little bit. But this is one of the first farms that I built in the base here. So it's an old farm. But yeah, we've got cactus, we've got cocoa beans, we've got two tall flowers, not two hall flowers. And then we've got the Silk Touch Hex, where I bring ores to mine them with Fortune. After silk touching them in the mines, I also have grass blocks I can grow. I've got mycelium blocks I can grow that spread from two dirt blocks. And that's all fine and dandy. We've got Mr. Crayfish's sea pickle farm. We've got a concrete converter. We've got a kelp farm. We've got a chorus flower farm so that I can feed the chorus fruit farm down below, and then our lovely hexes. So I think let me just check my list here. I'm gonna do a quick cut. Yeah, I think that's about everything. So, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. Otherwise, have a good now, have a good later, and we'll see you next episode for not more of this, because I'm not going to do another world tour for another 50 episodes once I've got more stuff in the world. Yeah, for more of whatever the heck we get up to. Have a good now, have a good later, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.